We set out on a quest to build the best money can buy PC under £600.
Yeah, boy.
And in today's video, we're going to show how. So to start off with, we've got the graphics card, which Random Gaming in HD actually covered a video on, and that is the ASUS Matrix 7970 Platinum with 3GB of GDDR5, and I'll put a link in the description to his video where he plays games on this card. Next, we've got the Aorus B560M Elite Micro ATX motherboard, and we've also got the Corsair CF650F RGB power supply, an i3 10105F CPU, and a 2TB Crucial NVMe SSD for this PC for the operating system. And for the RAM, we've got 32GB of Crucial DDR4 clocked at 3200 MHz. So let's open up the motherboard box and have a look what we got. So the Aorus B560M Elite is a micro ATX motherboard that also has an IO shield built in and also has a heatsink cover over the VRM. We got it for a decent price and was close enough to an H510 price, so we decided to go with this because of it being a B560. So inside we've got a M.2 screw, two SATA cables, an M.2 screw to hold in the SSD, another screw, and the Aorus B560M manual that's in multiple languages, DVD CD, the multilingual manual, and that looks like it's it. So we'll just put that to one side, and let's get to the motherboard. Now, Leanna last year actually built a i5-10400F micro ATX build using the Aorus B460M. Now, if you haven't watched that, I will put a link in the description below for that PC build, and feel free to check it out. Now, let's open up the electrostatic bag and get this motherboard out and show what it has on it. So let's talk about some technical features of the B560M Aorus Elite. Now, the motherboard can support up to 11th gen Intel Core i9 CPUs. The board also supports DDR4 up to 5333 overclocked. I presume that would be with a Intel Core i7 or i9 unlocked CPU. Down at the bottom right and the bottom, it's all bog standard. You've got your 6 SATA connectors, ARGB, RGB, and HD audio with a couple of USB 2.0 headers. So now that we've got the motherboard out of the way, let's talk about what we're going to be using for the processor. So we've got the Intel Core i3 10105F processor, and this CPU is a fantastic budget processor, which performance-wise can be compared with the i7 7th gen desktop CPUs, and for only a fraction of the price of what the i7 originally released at. So we're going to start preparing to put the Crucial SSD into this motherboard. We didn't want anything complicated like multiple boot drives. We just wanted 1 2TB, plenty of storage, no faffing about, everything can be stored on it. We're going to put it in the second slot below because I'm not sure if the top slot will only work with 12th gen CPUs. So we'll grab our SSD screw that came with the Aorus motherboard in the box, and we will hold down the SSD and screw it in. Now for the RAM, we've gone for the Crucial Ballistix 2 16GB DDR4 sticks in white colour because we wanted to go for like a white sort of theme, and these were also a great price that we found, so we are going with these today. Now we're going to start preparing to put them in the slots. We're going to put them in bank 2 and bank 4, as this is what it suggests in the manual. Now when installing RAM, I like to normally hear a nice audible click, and that ensures that the RAM is seated in properly. So we're going to put some thermal paste on because we're using a second-hand heatsink to keep price low because the CPU did not come with one. And let's just clip it all in. Now with all that clipped in, let's install the CPU fan cable. Now for the case, we've gone for a Neutron Labs Sniper AM01. We got this off eBay, and there wasn't a lot of white cases on offer. However, for this price, it suited the budget build really well. It is a micro ATX tempered glass case, which has also got ARGB. We're going to also plug that into the motherboard so we can change the colours through Gigabyte RGB Fusion, and this will also give it more sense of customization. So let's get this glass panel off and let's start preparing to put the guts into the computer. We'll also get the other side panel off to allow easy access both sides. And there we go. Now for the power supply, we've gone for the Corsair CF650F RGB series. We've gone for a 650 watt, which is plenty, but I wanted to make sure we got the white version, so it goes with the theme. Also with the white version, you also get the white cables to go with it. And in my opinion, I do like the white version a lot more than the black version. So in the box so far, we've got our 3-pin UK kettle cable and our bag of cables and the power supply. There's not really much to it. So let's get this foam off and start unwrapping the power supply. It's also fully modular, so we can plug in the cables that we require without having a spaghetti mess down below, which also makes it a little bit more tidier and easier to route cables and everything. On the rear, we've got our standard 3-pin kettle connection, on-off switch, and also our RGB button as well. On the other side, we've got our PCIe and CPU headers, both at top and bottom, our peripherals like SATA and PARTA, and our motherboard 8-pin and 24-pin. And I'm not sure where that connection is down below. So let's start getting the cables out and start plugging in what we need. Alright, so we got that out of the way. Let's start putting it into the computer. I have noticed something. The colour on the power supply seems quite bleached, like something's been in the sun for quite a while. I'm not sure why it's that colour. But we'll start screwing it in. 4 screws. Now with that out of the way, let's just put the cables in and start getting the motherboard and that installed. Now the case hasn't got all the standoffs screwed in, so we're going to have to install 2 to make sure that the motherboard is mounted in properly. So we can't flex it when we put the 24-pin motherboard connector in. We'll line it up. It will be a lot easier to install this because the IO shield is actually integrated into the motherboard. And we'll just screw it all in now. Right, that looks like it's all done now. Perfect. So we've got the heatsink plugged in, we've got our SSD, we've got the RAM installed. We just need to plug in the CPU and the motherboard power connector. I'm also going to remove the 3 brackets because this GPU is a monster what's going in here and will take up 3 slots. So we'll get them out now. Right, let's lay this back down and start routing the cables through. So here's our connectors for the USB 3.0, 2.0 and also our HD audio, and we'll start cable managing it so we keep everything nice and tidy. Alright, so that's all done now. So we've got the cables installed for the motherboard, CPU and also our peripheral connections installed as well. Now, the ASUS Matrix Platinum 7970 is quite a rare graphics card, even when it was released. It features 3 GB of GDDR5 memory, and it is heavily overclocked compared to the standard 7970. It requires 2 8-pin power connectors, and it even has a dedicated fan 100% button, in case you want to go a bit crazy. This thing weighs an absolute brickload, but I must admit it does look fantastic even to today's standard. It has 2 massive fans, a massive heat spreader on the back to keep everything nice and cool, and I personally owned one of these back in the day and it used to play games very well. Now in this video I'm not actually going to be benchmarking the card, but in the description I will put a video to Random Gaming in HD's review of this card. So let's slide the door back on. Screw there as well. And now it's time to turn it on. Whoa. GPU's receiving power. We've got the green lights on there. Let's just put that back over there. Bit of OCD. Now let's turn this bad boy on and see what happens. Well, it's power on, that's a good thing. I do like the Matrix logo on this particular card lights up, and this was before RGB was a big craze back then. Now it is taking a bit longer than I would hope for the computer to post, so we'll just wait a little bit longer and see what happens. Oh dear.
1 hour later.
Now it actually did take genuinely 1 hour to find out what that problem was being caused by, and it was actually flagging up a CPU error, normally if the CPU's gone faulty or there's something wrong with the socket. And it was actually caused by the TPM module being switched on, because obviously this PC supports Windows 11. But after a BIOS update, using the USB flash tool, it actually fixed the problem. Now with all that sorted, now it's time to put the glass panel on and show some clips of the PC running. We hope you've enjoyed watching this PC build video from us for under £600. Now if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and also ring the bell icon to be notified of our new PC build videos coming very soon. Now till then, we'll see you in the next one.